right, we are moving on to adding rationals. Again, rationals is any number that can be written as a quotient, a over b. It looks like a fraction, such that a and b are integers, whole numbers and their opposites. Today you're going to add positive and negative rationals, also known as fractions, with, this just means variables, not I variables, just variables. Rules you need to know. They are the heart of rational numbers. You always need to have common denominators. Always. And you also, another rule, you only combine like terms. And we're going to deal with that concept in a couple slides out. That's the last part of this lesson. So you always want to have common denominators and be careful to only combine like terms. All right, so moving into these examples, I like to do mine where I can easily find my common denominator, so I like it nice and straight, my fractions. So I usually rewrite. All right, so what's my common denominator between the two? 10. 5 times 2 is 10, 12 times 2 is 24. Now I can go top times top, 9 plus 24 would be 33 over 10, and then whole number plus whole number, that's 10. 6 plus 4 is 10. Now I can regroup, right, because I have an improper fraction. 10 goes into 33 three times.
13.
I already have 10 holes, so that turns to 13 holes that I have, and 3 tenths. Eric,
Do you want us to simplify the fractions if we can?
beforehand? Or yeah, oh yeah, simplifying is a necessity, yep. Negative 6/9 plus 4/12. Again, I'm rewriting in vertical format, so it's a little bit easier for me, to read. And what's the common denominator between
36.
12 and 9?
3.
36. 3 is a factor, not a common denominator. So I would change them both into 36. 9 times 4 is 36. 6 times 4, wait, 24, negative. I messed myself up there. 12 times 3 is 36. 4 times 3 is 12. So what I'm really left with is negative 24 plus 12 all over the denominator of 36, which is a negative 12 over 36, which is negative 1/3. All right. Negative 2/9 plus 1 1/3 is the next one. So what's my common denominator?
9.
9. 3 times 3 is 9. 1 times 3 is 3. So I have negative 2/9 plus 1 3/9. Negative 2 plus 3 is a 1 over 9 and 1 whole. So I have 0 holes on that first one. Negative 5, take away a negative 3/8. That's really saying negative 5 plus 3/8. And I can't just combine them. It's not negative 5 and 3/8. I have to find that common denominator of 8. So notice what I did. I created a 1 on the denominator. 1 times 8 is 8. Negative 5 times 8 is negative 40. I'm rewriting because that looks sloppy. Negative 40 over 8 plus 3 over 8. Negative 40 plus 3 is a negative 37 over 8. 8 goes in, now I'm not dealing with the negatives right now. I deal with the fraction, throw the negative to the side. So 8 goes into 37 4 times, 5 remains, 8 as the denom. Don't forget it's negative. Done. Okay. Now we get to do some fun stuff. Remember borrowing from fractions? Oh, you love it. You love it so much. You call it regrouping is what we call it. And when we borrow from fractions, we don't just borrow one. We don't just stick a one out in front of the number. We borrow a whole. That's what we do. We always borrow a whole. So the whole number is like, nope, 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 you don't get part of me. You have to take all of the, I don't want a fraction on my side. You keep fractions over there, okay? And a whole is whatever the denominator is. A whole is always whatever that denom is, okay? All right, so whenever I subtract, I don't know what it is, I always like it in a vertical format. So I like to do 2 1/2, take away 1 3/4. It just works better for me. What's my common denom? 4. 4, so I'm just going to rewrite it. Okay, right? You agree? All right, so now, can I take 3 away from 2, yes or no? No, so I need to borrow. So 2 comes over to the whole and says, hey, I need to borrow some. And then, how many parts are to the whole? 4. There's 4 parts. So 2 gives them actually 4 parts to create that whole. Okay, so I have 4 parts that I borrowed plus the 2 I already have. How many parts do I have? 6. Now I go 6, take away 3 is 3/4. 1 take away 1 is nothing. Final answer is 3/4. Sure is. That's math for you. Okay, now negatives. Now we're bumping up our game here with the negs. I'm going to just rewrite it vertically. Now the negatives, last hour they had a great question, clarifying question. The negatives are not associated with the fraction at all, the fraction part. The negatives are only aligned with the whole numbers, okay? So you never deal with the negatives with the fractions. The fractions are always, you pretend they're positive, okay? So what's my common denom? 42. 42. 6 times 7 is 42. 5 times 7 is 35. 7 times 6 is 42. 4 times 6 is 24. Can I take 35 away from 24? No, I cannot. So I need to borrow. So I say, hey, 2, can I borrow a whole? And 2 is like, sure, you can borrow a whole. How many parts to the whole?
42.
42 parts to the whole. How many parts do I have right now? 24. So my total amount is going to be the 42 plus the 24 is 66. Notice that you should see a pattern. You just go the denominator plus the numerator is the new one. Because that's the whole. The denom is the whole. Now I can subtract. What is that? 31/42. And here's where the negative comes to play. It's -1, take away 5. What am I at?
-6.
-6 and 3/42. All right. Woo, that's heavy. Now this next part's actually easier with the algebra. You pull algebra in. Algebra is actually way easier than that other parts of math without algebra. Numerical expressions. Finding common D's with variables. This is where you have to remember you only combine like terms, okay? So I just do it as normal, keeping in mind I only combine like terms. What's a common denominator between 5 and 15?
15.
Okay. 5 times what is 15?
3.
2 times 3 is?
6.
So I would just write 6x. Now can I combine 6x and 1? No, they're not like terms. So it would just be 6x plus 1 over the denom. And I would leave it like that. It is not 7x over 5. You can't combine them. Because they're not like terms. 7/12 plus 3d/4. What's my common D?
12.
12. 4 times 3 is 12. What's this numerator going to be? 9D. So since I times 4 by 3, 3 times 3 is 9, throw the variable out. Can I combine 7 and 9D? No, so it just turns into 7 plus 9D over 12. Done. Because, huh?
Don't you put your variable first?
Yeah, good, proper etiquette would be 9D plus 7 over 12. Yes, I like that better. Good job, Jaden. I like that a lot better. Common denoms with variables. Remember, whenever you're in doubt of whatever the common denominator is, whenever you're in doubt, you can always multiply the denominators and that will give you a common denominator. For example, 5 3/5 plus 5 11ths. I don't know what the common denominator is off the top of my head, but I do know that if I multiply them together, I can create a common denominator. Remember that? And so 55 turns into our common denom. It's the same thing here. So you're going to multiply the denominators, and then you find the new numerators. Multiply the denoms, find the new numerators. Okay, so 4 over z minus 17 tenths. I don't know what my common denominator is. I don't know. But I do know that I can multiply them to create one. So 10 times z would be 10z. 10z is my common denom. Okay? I didn't know what it was, but I do know the trick that if you don't know what the common denominator is, multiply them together and it creates it. What did I multiply 10 by to get to 10z?
Z.
17 times z is?
17.
Okay. What did I multiply z by to get to 10? Z. 10, right? Let me restate that. What did I multiply z by to get to 10z?
10.
4 times 10 is?
40.
Can I combine 40 and 17z? They are not like terms, so it would be 40, take away 17z, all over 10z. Whew, that's some algebra. All right, stepping it up again. Negative 3 over 2a plus negative 5/7. I don't know what the common denominator is, but I know that I can multiply them together to create one. So what's 2a times 7?
14A.
Thank you, Austin. 14a is my common denom. Okay, do you agree? All right. 2a times what gives me 14a?
3 and 7.
7. 2a times 7 would give me 14a. So negative 3 times 7 is negative 21. 7 times what gives me 14a? 7 times what gives me 14a? 2a. 7 times 2a gives me 14a. Negative 5 times 2a is going to be a negative 10a. Now, can I combine negative 21 and negative 10? No, so I just leave it. Negative 21 plus a negative 10a all over 14a. Super awesome way to do it would be to put the variable first. It's actually minus 21 over 14. And some of us are already feeling like this first one here should have the variable first.
Yeah, like mine is.
Okay, and that's what it would be. So, that concludes this lesson.